Can I start, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay. So now I'm going to interpret the results of the second research objective. Again, I have shown the positively significant coefficients with red color, green color, and negatively significant coefficients with red color, and the rest in white. The first variable, the number of family members. This variable showed a negative impact on economic efficiency of the rain-fed wheat farmers, but only in highest quantile. Because after a certain the family members are supposed to serve as the family farm labor. So after a specific point, every additional unit of the family labor causes a decline in output per unit of the labor input. That's why this variable has a negative relationship between the economic efficiency, but only in the highest quantile. Second variable is the distance from the input market. An increase in the distance from input market negatively influence the economic efficiency of the rain-fed wheat farmers in OLS and in lowest quantile regression, because these input markets enable the farmers to timely purchase and then timely apply the various agronomic inputs, which ultimately translated into better yields and also causes an increase in the efficiency of the rain-fed wheat farmers. Then there is a variable of soil type. This variable showed a positive impact on the economic efficiency in middle quantile and also in OLS regression analysis, because this means that the farmers who has wheat cultivation in clay soils, because this is a dummy variable where I have used the clay soils with value of 1 and 0 for others like sandy loam and sandy soils. So this variable showed a positive impact because the farmers who has cultivation of rain-fed wheat in clay soils are more productive. That's why they are more efficient. These clay soils have highest soil moisture retention capacity as compared to sandy loam or sandy soil. That's why this variable showed a positive impact on the economic efficiency of the rain-fed wheat farmers. Most importantly, climate resilient crop farm trainings showed a positive impact on the economic efficiency in all quantiles and also in the OLS regression analysis, because these trainings enable the farmers to update their knowledge about the changing climatic conditions, then adjust their farming practices according to the changing weather, and ultimately these trainings enable them to get higher yields and ultimately cause a rise in their efficiency. Among the climate variables, the first variable is the deviation in the observed wheat growing season mean temperature from the historical mean, which showed a negative impact, but only in middle quantile, while the days with temperature greater than 30 degrees Celsius during wheat growing season showed a highly significant and negative impact on economic efficiency, because this variable is an indicator of heat stress, and heat stress can cause a significant decline in the final yield of wheat crop, which ultimately translated into the lower efficiency of the rain-fed wheat farmers. Then the last variables among the climate variables is the total rainfall during the wheat cropping season, which has shown a highly significant and positive impact on the rain-fed farmers. This means that the rain-fed wheat farmers are heavily dependent on the sufficient rains for their livelihood and food security. The third and last objective is to find out the effect of climate change, fatalism, and other explanatory variables on rain-fed wheat farmers' decision to adopt and to choose among different adaptation strategies, which I have addressed in my third published paper in the Journal of Sustainability. Because we cannot deny the fact that these agronomic inputs play a significant role in getting the higher yield, but meanwhile, we cannot ignore the farmers' attitude, their behavior, their special psychological approach to decide whether they want to do an adaptation against the climate change or they don't want to do the adaptation. Basically, the idea of the climate change fatalism is that the farmers believe on the climate change and its harmful impacts, but they have predetermined approach that these are from the God and they don't want to do any adaptation at all, and they cannot escape from these harmful impacts. This is the main idea of this last objective and this published paper. So the first, I use the logit model to determine the factors that can affect the farmer's decision to do the adaptation, where the dependent variable is a binary variable in the form of yes and no, and the independent variables are climate change fatalism, climate specific extension services, information on climate change, socioeconomic variables, institutional variables, tractor holding, and farm characteristics. Then second, I use the multi-nominal logit model to determine the factors that can affect the various adaptation measures. I have used the 4 adaptation measures in this multi-nominal logit model, where the dependent variable is the same 4 adaptation measures, and the independent variables are same as I used in the logit model and also explained a bit earlier. So similarly, the highly significant and positive coefficients have been colored in green, and the negatively significant coefficients in red color. So the first variable, the climate change fatalism. This means that the farmers with fatalistic views about the climate change are less likely to do any adaptation, because they have predetermined approach that these impacts cannot be tolerated by doing various adaptation measures, so they don't want to do any adaptation at all. That's why this variable has a negative relation in logit model and also with all 4 adaptation strategies. Here I want to mention the 4 adaptation strategies. The first one is in the 3rd column, that is using heat and drought resistant wheat crop varieties. Second adaptation is changing sowing dates. Third adaptation is in the second last column, that is the planting shade trees, and last adaptation is the changing the composition of fertilizer use. So again, the second variable is the farmers' participation in trainings on climate resilient wheat crop farming, which showed a positively significant effect on all adaptation strategies, because these trainings enable them to enable the farmers to get the information about the latest inputs like new seed varieties and new farming practices, which ultimately assist them to changing their farming according to these changing circumstances and get better yields of this wheat crop. Third, an easy access to advisory services via mobile phones, and easy access to information on climate change, mainly from the extension workers and fellow farmers, also showed a positive impact on farmers' decision to adopt. This means that the farmers who has easy access to these advisory and climate information services, they are more likely to do the adaptation as compared to those farmers who don't have these type of services. Then there is a variable of number of male family members. This variable showed a highly significant and positive impact on all the on 3 adaptation strategies and also in the logit model, which means that more family members, more male family members leads towards the more adaptation against the climate change, because the male family members have more ability and capacity to do the various adaptation strategies to minimize the harmful impacts associated with the climate change. Then again, there is a variable input market access. Easy access to input markets leads towards the more adaptation against the climate change, because these input markets also serves as the information exchange platform, where the farmers can get the useful information from the input suppliers and also from the fellow farmers to adjust their farming according to the changing weather conditions. Then there is a variable of tractor ownership. Farmers having tractor ownership, they are more likely to do the adaptation as compared to those farmers who don't have these type of implements and also the tractor. Then there is second last variable is the crop farming. Farmers who has crop farming, their only source of income, and farmers who cultivate only one crop per year, they are more likely to do the adaptations against the climate change, because these farmers are more conscious and vigilant about the changing climatic conditions and also adjust their farming according to these changing conditions for the sustenance. So now I would like to conclude the main research findings of my study. The first one is that the rising temperature has negatively influenced the wheat mean yield and also the economic efficiency of the rain-fed wheat farmers. Second is that an increase in the distance from input markets has negatively influenced the wheat mean yield and also the economic efficiency of the farmers. Third one is the total rainfall during the whole crop growth period has shown a positive impact on the mean yield and also on the economic efficiency of the rain-fed wheat farmers. Moreover, the farmers' participation in climate resilient crop farm trainings showed a positive impact on economic efficiency and also on the farmers' decision to adapt against the climate change. Similarly, an easy access to input markets has shown a positive impact on the farmers' decision to adopt and on farmers' choice among various adaptation strategies against the climate change. And last, farmers having fatalistic views about the climate change, they didn't want to do any adaptation against the climate change to minimize the harmful impacts associated with these changes. So now I would like to give some policies for the betterment of livelihood and food security of the rain-fed wheat farmers. The first one, for encountering the problem of rising temperatures and low rainfall, there is a need of research emphasis on the development of heat and drought-resistant wheat crop varieties so that the farmers can get better yields against the climate under the climate change. Second, serious efforts and investments as well are required to enhance the institutional capacity regarding the provision of easy access to input markets and climate-specific trainings for the rain-fed wheat farmers. Third, although the rain-fed wheat farmers have already been doing various adaptation practices, but still there is a need to identify and then scaling up the most effective adaptation strategies so that they can get higher yield even under the situation of changing climatic conditions. And last, there is a need of special education and counseling of the rain-fed wheat farmers to change their fatalistic views towards the climate change, to make them believe on doing the various adaptation strategies to minimize the harmful impacts associated with the climate change phenomena. So now I would like to shed some light on major contribution of the present study findings to recent literature on climate change and its harmful impacts in Pakistan. To the best of my knowledge, it is the first zone-specific study in Pakistan. Before that, there are studies either at district level or in provincial levels or in mixed agroecological zones of Pakistan, but there is no study in a single agroecological zone of Pakistan. Second, this is a pioneering study that has evaluated the climate change impacts on rain-fed wheat, mainly on the rain-fed wheat in Pakistan. Third, the previous studies had evaluated the role of journal extension services, but this is the first study who has evaluated the role of climate resilient crop farming trainings instead of journal extension trainings. And last one, this is the first study in Pakistan who has investigated the role of farmers' special psychological attitude, that is climate change fatalism, and its impact on the farmers' decision to do any adaptation against the climate change. So the present study has also some limitations. First one, the study findings of this research project cannot be generalized to other agroecological zones of Pakistan because of the diverse agroclimatic and soil conditions in those zones. Second, the present study has used one-time field survey data. So detailed picture could be captured by conducting the field surveys at various growth stages of the wheat crop. And the third one, I use the cross-sectional data of farm household level because the panel data for rain-fed zone in journal and for Pakistan is unavailable. That's why it's the big constraint to conduct a cross-sectional, to conduct a panel data analysis in Pakistan. The last one, because of the dynamic nature of the climatic conditions, changing econometric techniques and the nature of various variables, the research findings of this present study can be questionable in future. So there are some research directives that I want to suggest and could be possible to do in future in Pakistan. First, there is a need of zone-specific climate-based research for the identification of area-specific adaptation. Second is the identification and scaling up the composite measures of adaptation would be the next step. Third one, because there are no other irrigation arrangements in Pakistan, so conducting the feasibility studies for constructing dams to harvest the rainwater and installation of the solar power tube wells could be the focus of the future study. And this project has already been initiated by the Punjab government in Potohar region, I mean in the rain-fed area of Punjab province. And lastly, panel data analysis could provide clearer picture of the climate change impacts and farmers' adaptation response. So these are the references that I have used in my slides. So thank you very much for listening with patience.
Thank you, Dr. Nasser, for sparing your valuable time for a wonderful talk. If audience have any question, please 1 or 2 questions. As you know, today in university we have some internet issue. Dr. Mukhtar, please. Raise hand by Dr. Mukhtar Ahmed, please. Administrator from data center, please allow Mukhtar Ahmed. Yes, please.
Are you getting my voice?
Yes,
so
yes,
excellent,
please.
Yes, sir.
Excellent, Doctor. But I have one question. Like there was a kind of gender bias in your study. How you can avoid that gender bias?
That's how we
Sorry, sir, I didn't understand your question.
Like in case of adaptation, you mentioned that there will be the farmers who have more male participants. They will be more resilient to the climate change.
Yes, sir. Sir, are you able to listen to me, sir?
Compared to who don't have male participants, how you can like
okay,
अगर किसी फैमिली में मेल बंदे ज्यादा हैं तो आपने मेरा एनालिसिस में ये कहा है कि एनालिसिस से ये आया कि वो जो फैमिली है वो क्लाइमेट के अगेंस्ट ज्यादा रेजिलिएंट हो, तो इसका कोई रीजन बताएंगे?
यस सर. सर इसकी पहली रीजन ये है कि चूंकि हमारे कंट्री में स्पेशली रेनफेड जो जोन है इसमें ये सिनारियो है कि एटलीस्ट मेरे सैंपल्स में जो 400 फार्मर से मैंने डाटा कलेक्ट किया है, तकरीबन मैंने किसी एरिया में भी स्पेशली वीट फार्मिंग में, वेजिटेबल फार्मिंग में या बाकी जो क्रॉप्स हैं उसमें शायद हो, लेकिन वीट फार्मिंग में मैंने फीमेल पार्टिसिपेशन नहीं देखी. एक चीज. दूसरा ये है कि बहुत सारी स्पेशली अफ्रीकन स्टडीज मैंने देखी हैं जिनको मैंने कोड भी किया है अपने रिसर्च पेपर्स में कि जो मेल फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं, जो ये इनकी जो एबिलिटी है और जो कैपेसिटी है टूवर्ड्स डूइंग द एडेप्टेशन ये चूंकि ज्यादा है, इसलिए मैंने इस चीज को सपोर्ट किया है कि चूंकि इनकी एबिलिटी ज्यादा है, कैपेसिटी ज्यादा है, कोई भी नया टास्क या लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी है, फार्मिंग की कोई लेटेस्ट इनपुट है, न्यू सीड वैरायटी है, तो ये ज्यादा रिस्क लवर्स होते हैं, जिस वजह से ये ज्यादा इफेक्टिव हैं टू इंक्रीज द वीट यील्ड और आल्सो टू इंक्रीज देयर एफिशिएंसी. सो इस चीज को मैंने रिलेट किया कि जो ज्यादा मेल फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं, चूंकि वो एज ए फैमिली फार्म लेबर भी वर्क करते हैं, तो वो ज्यादा जो है वो सिग्निफिकेंट और पॉजिटिव इंपैक्ट उनका आया है रेनफेड वीट यील्ड के ऊपर. तो इस अफ्रीकन स्टडीज हैं, लेकिन बहुत सारे ऐसे कंट्रीज हैं जहां पे ये जो जेंडर बेस्ड क्लाइमेट स्टडीज हैं वहां पे फीमेल को ज्यादा उन्होंने कहा है कि ये ज्यादा उनकी एडेप्टिव कैपेसिटी है, और उन्होंने उसी जस्टिफिकेशंस भी दी हैं कि वो